Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the effect of operating variables on Rankine cycles. In the previous classes, we have seen the analysis of Rankine cycle and also what are the irreversibilities and losses in the Rankine cycle. Now, we have to understand the behavior of each and operating variable on the efficiency. This is very, very important in order to analyze the cycle and also to calculate the efficiency and other aspects of the Rankine cycle. So the outline is something like this. We are basically discussing about the effect of exhaust pressure, effect of superheating, and effect of increase in boiler pressure, and comparison of the effect of these parameters on moisture content, efficiency, and work done. So essentially, if you see a Rankine cycle, what is the boiler pressure? This is the boiler pressure. This is the boiler pressure. This is the boiler pressure. And this is the condenser pressure, right? So this is the boiler pressure and this is the condenser pressure. And other important parameter is the temperature, the operating temperature. This is the maximum temperature and this is the minimum temperature. So the efficiency of the Rankine cycle will basically depending on these three variables. So one is the boiler pressure, and other one is the condenser pressure, and other one is the temperature. So first we'll see what is the effect of exhaust pressure on the efficiency of the Rankine cycle. Exhaust pressure means what? This is the one. See 1 to 2, what is this process? This is the process that is taking place in the turbine. This is isentropic expansion. This is the isentropic expansion. This is the isentropic expansion. So the steam will be entering the turbine at a point 1 at this particular temperature, and the boiler pressure T1 and P1, and then it will be expanding isentropically in the turbine. Ideally, it should be isentropic expansion, right? So if you are decreasing the exhaust pressure, then what will be the effect? Now see, this hatched area is there. This hatched area is there between 2, 2 dash, 3 dash, and 3. This is the amount of heat that is saved. That means normally if the pressure is remained here only, so if this is going to be the pressure, if this is going to be the P2, this is P2, you are not changing the pressure, exhaust pressure, then this much amount of work we are not going to get. Okay, so here typically the heat will be rejected. The heat will be rejected. But instead of rejecting at the pressure P2 here, we are rejecting the heat at P2 dash. This is the P2 dash pressure and this is the P2 pressure. So instead of rejecting the heat at P2, we are rejecting the heat at P2 dash. So because of that, this much amount of heat is not getting rejected. This much amount of heat is being utilized in the work. You can see the heat rejection decreases by the amount 2, 2 dash, 3 dash, 3, 2. 2, 2 dash, 3 dash, 3, 2. This much amount of heat is saved. It is not getting rejected. So what is the effect of that one? The efficiency formula is, you know the efficiency, this is 1 minus Q out by Q in. So if this is quantity is getting decreased, ultimately this quantity is going to increase. So this is the effect. So if the exhaust pressure is decreased, the amount of heat rejected will be decreased. And heat transfer is also getting increased. In what way? This is the amount of heat that is getting added extra. So if you are decreasing the pressure from this point to this point, this is the extra amount of heat that is getting added. 3, 3 dash, 4 dash, 4. Right? So this extra amount of heat is added and some amount of heat is saved without being rejected. So the effect of the combined effect of these two things will be the efficiency will be increased. The efficiency will be increased. However, there is one problem here. However, the moisture content increases as the and thus the harmful to turbine blades. Previously, when we were discussing about this particular quantity, what are the practical difficulties of the Carnot cycle? We have discussed that particular point. Let us just clear these things. When previously in the when we discussed in the Carnot cycle, uh, if you are going to if you are going to stop this particular heat addition at the saturation pressure and then isentropically expand the steam in the turbine, then this particular point will be the point where the process ends. This was what we have discussed in the Carnot cycle. And the effect of this one is to have a higher moisture content. So to avoid that particular thing, what we are doing, we are superheating the steam. We are adding more heat and then expanding so that you will be getting a lesser moisture after expansion. So the moisture content is defined by this particular quantity. The effect of uh, this particular process, if it is extended till a lower point, if 1 2 is extended from 1 to 2, instead of 1 to 2 you are going from 1 to 2 dash, then what is happening, the width of this particular thing, that means this particular quantity is more, that means the moisture is more. Okay, so what is the point here we have to understand is we can decrease the condenser pressure from P2 to P2 dash, but while doing so, the moisture content is getting increased. This is the moisture content at P2 dash. This is the moisture content at P2. So since the moisture content is getting increased, it will be harmful to the turbine blades. What will happen if the moisture is more? The erosion will take place. The erosion will take place, and that's why we have to limit the maximum moisture content. Maximum moisture content should not exceed the 10%. The moisture content should be, MC should be less than 10%. MC should be less than 10%. You should not have more than that for the safety of turbine blades. So that is why this is one of the side effects. I told you what is called side effect. You are doing something in order to get some advantage, but it is having some disadvantages also. That means if you are decreasing the condenser pressure from P2 to P2 dash, you are getting some additional, you are adding some more heat, and also you are rejecting less heat. And because of these two reasons, you are getting more efficiency. But what is the side effect? The side effect is increasing the moisture content. So if the moisture content is increased, the turbine blades will be damaged. So that is why we cannot go much lesser condenser pressure. And another problem is the pump work for extraction of the air. I told you what are the different types of losses in the previous class. One of the losses in the Rankine cycle is because there is a subatmospheric pressure in the condenser, some air may enter through the leakages, and you have to remove all this air and maintain the correct condenser pressure for the cycle to operate properly. So if you decrease the condenser pressure, more air may go inside, and you have to do more work for removing the air and maintaining the condenser pressure properly. And this may also will decrease the efficiency because you are doing some additional work to maintain the condenser pressure. So this additional work will decrease the efficiency. So you cannot take it for granted that if the condenser pressure is decreased, we are going to get the increased efficiency because it is having some side effects. Therefore, the correct thing is you have to balance it. Therefore, a balance is to be maintained to increase the efficiency while keeping the pump work and moisture minimum. So pump work and moisture should be minimum, and also you have to get the maximum efficiency. Like that, you have to choose the condenser pressure. You cannot arbitrarily decrease the condenser pressure. If you decrease, the moisture content will increase, and also the extra air pump work will also will increase. So these are the problems of side effects of this particular procedure. Exhaust pressure, if you are reducing, those are the side effects. Now we'll see what is the effect of another variable. Another effect, another variable is superheating of the steam. That is temperature. Basically, this particular thing is going to change the temperature, right? So we'll see what is the effect of superheating. Superheating is very advantageous because it is going to increase the efficiency. See, in the normal thing, and this is the normal cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the normal cycle. And if you are going to add more superheat, this is the superheat cycle part. This is the extra heat you are adding. This is the superheated, extra superheat. This is the extra superheat. So if you are adding some extra heat, this is all extra heat. And heat rejected is same. There is no change in the heat rejected usual typically, but you are adding more heat. This is the extra heat you are adding. So because of that, the efficiency will increase. The efficiency will increase. So this is very beneficial. So why it is happening? If you are increasing the heat content and superheating the steam, one of the reasons is increase in mean temperature of heat addition. What is the mean temperature of heat addition? So here there is one point, this is one temperature, this is another temperature, and this is another temperature. Okay, so if you take this 1,4 process, if you are taking 1,4 process, there are different temperatures. So let us say this is T1 dash, and this is some another intermediate temperature, and this is T4. So if you take an average of all these three temperatures, this is the mean temperature of heat addition. That means the heat is added across these three temperatures. So if this is increased automatically, that means that the enthalpy content will be increased more. So if the temperature of heat addition is increased, you will be getting more work output. Okay. So the superheating of steam increases the mean temperature of heat addition. And then net work is also increased by amount of this much. Okay. So this is the original work 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is the original work output. But because of adding the heat, the output will be 1 dash to 2. This is the, just let me, what is the original work? This is nothing but H1 minus H2, and I am calling it as T dash. This is H1 dash minus H2. So because this H1 dash is more, okay, so this work will be increased. This work will be increased. So because of these two reasons, increase in the mean temperature of heat addition and also increase in the net amount of work, the efficiency will increase. The efficiency will increase. Okay. And another important point is the moisture content also will decrease after expansion of the steam in the turbine. You see here, So if you expand the steam, from 1 to 2, you are getting only this much work. Okay, and this is the moisture content. This is the moisture content you are going to get if you are expanding along the process 1 to 2. But if you are expanding from 1 dash to 2 dash, this is the moisture content. Okay, so this is the moisture content is getting decreased. The moisture content is getting decreased. So this is another advantage. So it is also beneficial for the safety of the turbine blades. So if superheated steam is used, more superheat is used, one advantage is the efficiency is increased and also moisture is getting decreased. So because of these two reasons, you are going to get a better efficiency and safety of the blades. But one important problem with this one is if you keep on adding the heat, the temperature will be increased. The temperature will be increased. If very high temperature is used, then there will be problem of material deterioration. Okay. So you cannot add more heat. How much ever you want, you cannot add. You have to add only some heat within permissible limits. So here, if the extent of superheating is limited by the metallurgical constraints of the material, what does it mean? Because if you are going to add more heat, the material will get damaged because of the high temperature and because of metallurgical reasons. So that is why again, you cannot add as much amount of heat you want. There is some limitation. The maximum operating temperature would be around 1100 degrees centigrade. The maximum temperature will be around 1100 degrees centigrade. By keeping this one in mind, we have to increase the temperature till that point, and till that point only you can add the extra superheat. This is one important aspect, and the behavior of this particular operating variable on the efficiency. If the degree of superheat is increasing, the thermal efficiency will increase, and if degree of superheat is increasing, the specific steam consumption will decrease. Obviously, what is the specific steam consumption? This is the amount of steam required for generating unit power. Okay, so if the efficiency is increasing, the steam consumption will decrease. And let us see the other variable. The third one is the effect of increasing boiler pressure. So what is the boiler pressure here? This is the boiler pressure. So this is the original process. This is the original process. You assume this is the original process, and this is the increasing the boiler pressure. This is the increase in the boiler pressure. This is the increased boiler pressure. Original pressure is P1. The pressure is increased to P1 dash. The pressure is increased to P1 dash. Then what will be the effect? So can we increase the boiler pressure how much ever we want, or is there any other aspects to that? So that we are going to see here. So increase in boiler pressure increases the mean temperature of heat addition, and therefore increases the efficiency. As I told you, the mean temperature of heat addition is the average of temperatures of this temperature, okay, and this temperature and this temperature. So all these temperatures are higher than the previous original process. Okay, so if the temperatures are increased, the mean temperature of heat addition will be increased. So if the mean temperature of heat addition is increasing, obviously the efficiency will increase. Okay, but again, you see here, this is the Tmax. Tmax, we should not cross the particular temperature for a given setup because of that metallurgical constraints. So assuming that the maximum temperature is constant, and we are going to increase the boiler pressure, this will be the curve. Typical curve will be like this. So you are stopping at this particular temperature, heat addition. So what is the difference here? So here the latent heat of first steam is more, and here the latent heat of steam is less. Okay, LHS is less. Here it is latent heat of steam evaporation is more. Okay, so this is one important uh, difference you have to understand. And what is the other difference? What is happening actually because of increasing the boiler pressure? So this is the extra amount of heat you are adding. Okay, this is extra amount of heat you are adding, and this is the again extra amount you are adding. So because of this thing, you are going to get a higher efficiency by keeping the Tmax and P2 constant. If the boiler pressure is increased, the heat rejection is decreased. The heat rejection is decreased. So how much, this much amount of heat you are utilizing for the work? The area under the car, area inside the cycle, that loop will indicate the amount of work. So this much amount of heat is getting decreased. That means heat rejection. The heat rejection is getting decreased. What is happening here? You are increasing the temperature, boiler pressure. Sorry, this is the boiler pressure you are increasing. This point is moving towards left because you are keeping this point maximum limit constant and this also constant. By keeping these 2 points constant, if you are adding increasing the boiler pressure, this line will shift leftwards. That means 1 dash and 2 dash is here, and 1 2 is here. Okay, so this line is shifting leftwards. 1 2 2 is here and 1 dash 2 dash is here. So because of this much shifting, this much amount of heat rejected will be decreased. This much amount of heat rejected will be decreased. So because of the decrease in the heat rejection, okay, the efficiency will increase. Because of decrease in heat rejection, the efficiency will decrease. However, if the boiler pressure increases, the enthalpy of vaporization decreases, and the majority of heat is used for increasing the sensible heat during the non-isothermal process. I told you one important thing, there are always some side effects. What are the side effects of this particular aspect you have to see? First thing, I think you understood. I'm just repeating once again. Because of increasing the boiler pressure and by keeping the Tmax constant, because of the maximum temperature constant and the increase in the boiler pressure, this process 1 to 2 is shifting towards left. This is shifting towards this one. Okay, so because of that, what is happening? The area below this one, this is the indication of the Q rejected. Q rejected. Okay, so the area below this one will be Q rejected. So since this line, this point is shifting to this point, this much amount of heat rejection is decreased. Heat rejected or Q out is decreased. So if Q out is decreased, what is the efficiency equation? Efficiency equation is Q in minus Q out by Q in. So if this particular quantity is decreased, obviously the efficiency will increase. So this is the point you have to understand, right? And what is the other aspect of this one? However, if the boiler pressure increases, the enthalpy of vaporization decreases. I told you this important point initially. This is the original enthalpy of vaporization. But after increasing the boiler pressure, this is the enthalpy of vaporization. So this enthalpy of vaporization is getting decreased if you are moving this particular line upwards. So if you are increasing the boiler pressure, it indicates that, or what it results in decrease in the enthalpy of vaporization. So if the enthalpy of vaporization is decreased, what does it mean? Majority of the heat is getting added in the sensible heat, as a sensible heat is getting added. Understood? So, and the majority of heat is used for increasing the sensible heat during non-isothermal process. This is very, very important. What is meant by this non-isothermal process? Because the heat is getting added through this. This is the heat is getting added. So this is the initial point of heat addition and this is the final point of heat addition. So the temperature is constantly changing. So temperature is changing during heat addition. Temperature is changing during heat addition. So it is a non-isothermal process. Non-isothermal process, the heat is getting added. So which will increase the irreversibility. If the heat is added during a non-isothermal process, more irreversibility will be there or more loss will be there. Okay. Because of that reason, the irreversibility and decrease in efficiency. Because of this one, because the heat is added during the non-isothermal process, it will increase the irreversibility and also decrease the efficiency. So even though you are getting advantage of increase in efficiency by increasing the boiler pressure, because of this side effect, the efficiency is getting decreased. Right? So again, you have to properly select what is the maximum boiler pressure without affecting the efficiency. And one more side effect of this one is very, very important. So if you are expanding, from 1 to 2, what is this quantity? This is the moisture content. This is moisture content. So if you are expanding the steam at along 1 to 2, you are getting less moisture. But if you are expanding steam from 1 dash to 2 dash, so this is the moisture content. This is the moisture content. If you are increasing the boiler pressure and then expanding along 1 dash 2 dash, this is the moisture content. So what is happening to the moisture content? The moisture content is getting increased. So again it will have, so with increase in the boiler pressure, the cycle shift towards left. The cycle shifts towards left and the moisture content increases and which is undesirable. Undesirable why? Because the turbine blades will get damaged. The turbine blades will get damaged. So you cannot increase the boiler pressure to whatever level you want because of two reasons. First reason is latent heat of enthalpy, heat of enthalpy of vaporization is getting decreased. And the second one is moisture content is getting increased. Because of these two aspects, you cannot increase the boiler pressure as much level you want. So there is a balance. You have to see how much boiler pressure you can use without getting these side effects. Okay, typically at 160 bar, the efficiency will be maximum and the specific steam consumption is minimum. Okay, so the maximum efficiency is obtained at around 160 bar for a typical steam power plant. So these are the effect of operating parameters on efficiency of Rankine cycle, right? I hope you understood what are the effect of each and every variable. So this is the comparison of the effects. Okay, so operating variable, what is the operating variable? Exhaust pressure, the effect of exhaust pressure. So if you decrease the exhaust pressure, what is going to happen to the work? Work is going to increase. I told you because the turbine expansion See, the turbine expansion is this one. Instead of from here to here, you are expanding from here to here, 1 to 2 dash. So the work done will be increased. So the work done is increasing. Similarly, the moisture content also is increasing. Because of this reason, if you are stopping at this point, this is the moisture content. But if you are continuing expanding till this point, this is the moisture content. So the moisture content also will increase and efficiency will also increase. But here, what is the side effect means air suction work that will increase. And the superheating of the steam. In the superheating of the steam, this is the effect. So this is the original one, 1 to 2 is the original process. And after increasing the superheat steam, 1 dash is the new point. So here the work done is getting increased and also efficiency will get increased. Work done also is increasing and efficiency also increasing. And moisture content is what is happening here. It is shifting from 2 to 2 dash. It is shifting from 2 to 2 dash. That means the moisture content is getting decreased. So this is the best option to increase the efficiency and decrease the moisture content in a Rankine cycle. But what is the side effect? A maximum operating temperature is limited because of the metallurgical constraints. So you cannot use as much temperature as much you want. You have to take the metallurgical constraints of the material into consideration and you have to limit the temperature. And the third one is increase in boiler pressure by keeping Tmax and P2 constant. So work done no effect. Why it is no effect? So work done, here also it is 1 to 2 and here 1 dash to 2 dash. So in the work done, there is no change in the value. So work done, there is no effect. If you increase the boiler pressure, because the work done mainly depends on the maximum temperature and the pressure P2. So therefore, these two things are constant means the work done is not changing. And what is the other one? Because these two are constant, if you are increasing the boiler pressure, this line is going to shift leftwards. Therefore, the moisture content will increase. So the moisture content will increase and efficiency will also increase because of additional heat that is getting added and less heat is getting rejected. So this much amount of heat is saved in the rejection and this much amount of heat is added extra. So because of these two reasons, the efficiency is getting increased. So the efficiency is getting increased. But there is a problem of irreversibility of pump work in this case. So you are adding some more pump work. So the irreversibility will increase here. This is you are adding more pump work which will add the irreversibility because you are adding more heat at a non-isothermal process. So these are the differences. These are the effect of each and every variable. So we shall see one problem in another session.